in the blank. You're not getting any younger, so
go for it.
Hey you! Yes, you! Welcome to the You're Not Getting Any Younger podcast. A podcast for people who want to disrupt their lives for a good reason, to make it count. I'm your host, Jen Glantz, and every week I'll drop a new episode with stories from real people just like you, who woke up one morning and decided to make big changes, starting with small things. We'll cover topics like entrepreneurship, love, failure, and self-care. Hey, you're not getting any younger, so let's make this an adventure. Ready? Hey, any youngers. It's me, your host, Jen Glantz. Welcome back to another episode of the You're Not Getting Any Younger podcast. Now's the part of the year where we stop wishing people a happy new year, we stop saying happy 2020, and we start saying things like, can you believe how fast the year is flying? That is one of my least favorite things to hear from people. I am so guilty of saying it myself, and why it drives me crazy is because, yeah, of course it's flying, it's time. And you know what isn't flying? Your to-do list and your goals. And I'm not trying to pump stress and anxiety into you, but I am just saying, look at the facts, look down at the calendar. Yeah, days have gone by. The year is in motion. How about you? Now look, I'm saying this and I'm guilty of not being in motion. I've spent most of January feeling so sluggish, and not just like mind sluggish or body sluggish, just like so not as energized and motivated as I thought I would at the start of the year. I feel like I spent the end of 2019 burning myself out, that I have to take like a couple of weeks to just get back in the swing of things, and haven't been really wanting to be active on social media. I just don't have a desire to, and hopefully that'll change. But I've also been working just really slow toward all of that goals, like very, very sluggish, like turtle speed. And I don't want to be the person who starts saying, oh my God, the year is flying by and I'm not flying with it. So I'm saying this as a hypocrite, but also as a person who is trying to motivate you so that I get motivated too, and saying, let's fly with the year. One way to do that, and I've never done this before, but after I interviewed this guest, I decided to give it a try, is to get very clear about what your goals are. Sure, we write them down in a list, we say them in our head, maybe you tell your best friend, but the truth is, there's other ways to put it out there in the universe. And today's episode is all about something called a vision board. I've never made one before, and I think what's stopping me is that I'm just too lazy to go out and get all of the supplies. Like, the thought of buying magazines and scissors and glue and tape is a lot for a person who was living out of their suitcase for 2 years and just has a home now and is still sort of unpacking. But today's guest makes it very easy for us to consider how to make a vision board. Her company sells kits to make it even easier, but aside from that, she gives some practical tips that anybody, anywhere can do to help you start your own board. And she talks about the different categories you could have on your vision board, when you should update it, if you should share it with people, and also just what you can do every day to feel like you are accomplishing something, but also to hold yourself accountable. Today's guest is Kendall Covitz Nicholson, and she decided after getting laid off with a 5-month-old girl and moving to a brand new state, like all of this was happening at once in her life, she decided she needed to put something powerful and positive out there in the world. She thought to herself, okay, what kind of company could I start that inspires people to live their wildest dreams? That's when she created Inspire Me Co., which is a place where people can come to create their own vision boards through her amazing and incredible kits. I can't wait for you to hear this episode with Kendall. She is incredible. Her story is so amazing because she's a rock star. She's a mom of 2 kids. She's an entrepreneur and such a badass with how she's raising them and the kind of role model she's becoming for them. And I love it, and I love this episode, and I want to hear what you think, so come hang out with us in the Secret You're Not Getting Any Younger Facebook group, chat with everyone else, show off your vision board. Do you have one? Do you have tips? Where do you find your supplies? We can't wait to hear it. And one more thing, if you enjoy the podcast, feel free to rate it and review it, especially on that iTunes app you're listening to. If you do, I will read your review out loud on the show, so do it. It means so much, and I hope you enjoy this week's episode. Today's episode is brought to you by Jen and Juice Coaching by yours truly. For the past 5 years, I've worked with over 100 people to help them feel, well, less stuck. Whether you're looking to change careers, start a side hustle, or just get a strategy for your life, head on over to jenglance.com/coaching and you can find out about my 1-hour coaching specials that will help you feel like you can finally cross those things off your to-do list and start whatever kind of project, life change, or dream that you have. Kendall, Thank you so much for being on the show today. My very first question for you can be a little bit hard, but I'm curious, if you were at a party, how would you describe who you are and what you do?
Okay, it is hard. I would say, well, I'm a mom of 2 little children, and I am a marketer, and that's my day job. And then I'm always an entrepreneur with Inspire Me Co. and pushing people to think bigger and push towards their dreams.
I really love how you started off that you are a mom of 2 little ones, because that in alone seems like a full-time job to someone like me who doesn't have kids yet. So tell us a little bit about that balance. What is it like being a mom, but also being an entrepreneur?
Yeah, so I knew I wanted to always work, but I knew I also need to be in my kids' lives. It's really important for me to be there for the little moments or the challenging moments. I grew up in a family of entrepreneurs where my mom had her own legal practice, and even though she was an attorney with other people underneath her, she still was at everything, and I really didn't feel like she was a working mom, which might not be the best example because it might have put too much pressure on me. I'm not sure, but I knew I needed to build in that flexibility in my life. So when I started Inspire Me Co., I actually got laid off from a work from home position, and I was like, oh my gosh, I cannot go into an office and leave this 4-month-old baby most of her life. So I figured it out, and this didn't start right away. I worked for a nonprofit part-time, and then I started working for the company I work for now, the Instagram expert, Sue Zimmerman, a good friend of mine, and which is entrepreneurial. They're a small business, and we've known each other for a long time. And then I started this now that the time is right, and I feel like my kids are a little bit older. They're 22 months and almost 4. So still young, but I knew I always had to have something bigger, something flexible that I could work around little people.
As your kids grow up and they watch you in this environment, what are some of the things they want that you want them to take away about their mom as this badass, hardworking entrepreneur?
Oh, you're sweet. Well, I like that. I want them to see that they don't have to limit themselves. And if they want to have family, or if they don't, or if they want to, whatever their path they want to do, I love the flexibility. I keep mentioning that. It's really important, but I don't cap myself, and I don't want them to cap themselves in any way.
I love that. And if they came to you one day, I'm just curious, if one of them came to you and said, Kendall, I have this crazy idea, Mom. What exactly should I do with it? What would you tell them about starting a business? What if they had an idea and they didn't know what to do next? What would be some of your advice for them?
I think doing some research, but not doing too much. So not comparing yourself to others and going forward with it. I always had all these ideas growing up. I've always thought of new products or things we could do or services, and my parents just didn't have the tools. They have more traditional jobs. Where to make things happen. So I feel like I have the tools to make something happen with them at an early age. I would totally just dive right in.
I love that. I always say my best piece of advice is don't think too much about it either, because if you do, you talk yourself out of it. And I don't think that that's good if you want to be an entrepreneur. And I want to talk about your company, Inspire Me Co., and
Sure.
vision boards in general. So I've
Yeah.
never, ever, ever made a vision board in my life, but it has always
Mhm.
been something on my to-do list. So I want to
Yeah.
talk to you about how you first got started in the whole vision board space. And then I want you to talk to us about the power behind making one. So first start
Mhm.
off with, why did you ever make your first vision board? What was that experience like? And why did you see the power behind it?
Sure. So, I am a certified yoga instructor, and the summer that I finished my yoga teacher training, that was 2011, I went to Kripalu, which is a yoga meditation retreat center, and with a few of my girlfriends who we did yoga teacher training together. And when we were there, one of the workshops was vision boards, and I didn't do one either, and I just found it to be the most amazing special experience, sitting down with old magazines, cutting it out. Everyone was quiet. We did it together. I was around people that I knew and people who I didn't know, and then at the end we all talked about it, if we were comfortable, and shared what we wanted, where we were at. And it was just a really positive experience. I felt like it was very meditative. I didn't realize I wanted certain things, but through the process of being more intuitive and quiet with myself, I put it on there, and I accepted that I did want whatever I put on there, and I felt much closer to my friends that I came with by sharing, by sharing my manifestations and my goals.
So, do you think the true power behind making a vision board is just that, the art of sitting down and spending the quality time realizing what you want? Or do you think it's also just sitting down and putting something together that organizes those thoughts?
Yeah, I think it's both. I think the first step is taking a moment for yourself. We're in this world of so much coming at us so quickly. And I actually know when my brain is busy, when I'm looking and scrolling and like kind of like anxiously looking at something all the time, I'm too busy and I need to slow down. I'm probably am distracting myself from what I really need to do in life. So to take that time, and to shut everything down, to just get like to kind of childlike with scissors and paper and pens and a board is super therapeutic. But then the next step is looking at it and paying attention to it and saying, okay, this is something that is speaking to me and that's calling out, and there's a reason. How am I going to make this happen?
So, when you make these vision boards, my
Yeah.
next question is,
Hmm.
do you share them with anyone, or do you keep them private and stick them in your nightstand and look at them when no one else is around? Because I
Yeah.
have this huge problem where if I have goals, I have dreams, I won't even tell a best friend, I won't tell my
Hmm.
fiance, I just want to keep it in my head. But I do think there could be power in sharing it. So is there a rule with that, or is it just open to what people want to do?
I'm very similar. There's no rule. So you can stick it somewhere in your house that's just for you. You could put it in your planner and open up to it if you have a paper planner. Whatever you feel comfortable with, you could put it on your desk. You could put it in the drawer where you take a pen out from your desk at work. It's totally up to you how much you want to share it. I sometimes marinate on what I want, and then I'll share with my husband, here's what came out of this session, or do you want to do one together, and we can see, where our goals are as a couple. So it's really up to you and what you're comfortable with. Either way, it's something that you should look at, even if it's on an individual, hidden type of thing. um, I have these Post-it notes that come with the kit. It's the only thing that's not in the kit, and it says, today I will ... So if you wanted to pull one thing that you wanted to accomplish and write that down and put it on your bathroom mirror or somewhere that's super personal to you, you could do that too, to reinforce whatever you're working on through the board.
I was totally going to ask you about these sticky notes because I think they're
Yeah,
so cool. I
thanks.
love I love like writing on my mirrors with
Yeah,
lipstick or something that I want to do today. So I think these sticky notes are such an awesome way to visualize what you want to do today. So I want to talk
thank
about
you.
Inspire Me Co.
Yeah.
because my next question is going to be, what do you need for a vision board? For someone like me who doesn't ever make one, I don't have scissors. I don't have a magazine. The art of going to get that is going to just prevent me from even starting. So you started a company where people can get the entire kit from you. And I want to ask, what exactly does a person need to start this vision board?
Sure. So you really, you only need scissors with my kit. I think everyone has scissors. So the rest, it all comes in the kit. You have the board itself, it's embossed with our little logo. It's double-sided. You can either use the black side or the white side, horizontal or vertical. So we try to allow you to get creative and customize it, even though it's all done for you. There are magazine pages. There's 5 pages, and they include love, health, family, travel, and career. I think like the 5 main areas of our lives. And they have quotes and images, and you can kind of layer them on. You also have stickers. So they're letter stickers, alphabet stickers that you can create your own phrases or words that are important to you very easily. And then there's a glue stick. So you just glue it all together and you're done. So really you just need a pair of scissors and you can create your kit. The reason why I created this was because I found it to be such a pain to go to Michael's or Target or whatever. I spent like $75, maybe more, on all of this stuff, and I found it was really wasteful. Well, I realized I have like a very paper heavy business. You only have what you need. You don't have more. So I was throwing out 5 magazines every year, and I felt like, this just doesn't, recycling, but it just doesn't feel good. I wish that I had things in more of a streamlined place and could just open the kit and be done with it.
Yeah, I was going to say that, like, just the art of me going to buy magazines right now and like, I couldn't. Like, I would say, you know what? I don't need to do this vision board.
Yeah.
So I think it's brilliant that you put this all together. And I was writing down your categories. So it's love, health, family, career. And then am I missing one?
Travel.
I love it. So why do you think that those are the best 5 categories for us to start with in terms of what we want to envision and what we want to plan for the future?
Yeah, so I didn't make it about diet, it's health. I didn't make it about getting married. Although there's some images that are about marriage, it's not about that. It's love and relationships as a whole. Family can be anything. So I just thought that in general, I tried to make it general enough, but specific to women. I think it encompasses everything we want in our lives, and that you can use what you want and you don't have to use anything else. It comes in this neat little package, but then you spread everything out and you have a lot of options.
So I'm just trying to think, as a person who's never done this before,
Sure.
Do you make this vision board once and then you just put it into action? Or is this something where once a month I'm like, you know what? I don't want to go to Thailand anymore, and you rip that picture off and you write road trip instead. So do you edit these vision boards, or do you just try to make one at the start and carry that through the year?
That's a great question. I like to do mine more than once a year. I like to do it when I'm super happy and I want to bring in more good, or if I feel confused or lost, then I sit down and I start over again and do and try to find clarity through the process. So it's really up to you. If you wanted to add more to it, you could, or just start fresh. It's really whatever you prefer. And using the Today I Will Post-it notes is another way of just like you could add to it or break it down a little bit more.
I know you've made plenty of vision boards in the past, but is there anything that you put on your vision board that came true?
Oh my gosh, so much. A big thing is money. I've manifested money in specific ways that have come to me it's really shocking. And also I am from the Northeast. I'm from Boston, and I went to school in Rhode Island, and I've always wanted to live in the South, and I currently live in Charlotte, North Carolina. Looking back, I don't even understand how everything worked. I moved here 4 weeks pregnant. I didn't know. I lived in an apartment, then I bought a house while I was still pregnant. All of it is like weird to me, but it was on my first vision board. I'm looking at it right now because I have it on my desktop, and it says NC for North Carolina, and I'm here, and it's really, really cool.
Wow, something like that completely gives me the chills, just because, you never know where your life's going to turn out to be and go and do and all of that, and it's so cool if you can figure out what you want and then put it out there to the world. So I absolutely love this. I'm pumped to do my own. So Kendall, I have one final question for you. We end all of our interviews this way. Fill in the blank. You're not getting any younger, so
go for it.
I love it. Short, sweet, to the point. This was amazing. Kendall,
Thank you
please
so much.
tell our listeners where they can find out more about you, Inspire Me Co., and anything else you want us to know.
Yeah, it's inspiremeco.com and on Instagram, inspireme.co. I'd love to see you over there. Fill out what you are hoping and wishing for, your wildest dream, and today I will. And thank you so much for having me. This was a goal of mine, so thank you, Jen.
Oh, you're so sweet, and thank you for being on our show. This was amazing. Hey, you. Thank you for listening to the You're Not Getting Any Younger podcast. There are hundreds of thousands of pods out there, so thank you for listening to this one. You can find the show notes for this week's episode up on our website, anyyounger.com. Subscribe, rate, and review the You're Not Getting Any Younger podcast on iTunes so that other ears around the world can listen too. Oh, and join our secret You're Not Getting Any Younger Facebook group, where over 1,000 people are talking about how to disrupt their lives, for a good reason, to make it count. Until next week, all my love, Jen Glantz.